This happy little fellow is the Fox Bantay. It's on loan to me from Dave, This Old Sword Blade Reviews. I'll put his link down below. He's got an awesome channel where he looks at all sorts of unique knives with a tactical bent and others, but that's what I really resonate with. He knew I wanted this knife. He knew I always loved this thing and missed out on it when it was in print, so to speak. So he sent it to me to check out, and man, what a cool knife this is. So again, it's called the Fox Knives, I think the full name is the Fox Knives Kempo Bantay. Why Kempo, you say? Well, the designer, Borut Kinchl, if that's how it's pronounced, was a trainer, hand-to-hand combat trainer in the Slovenian military, and now if you look him up, he's the head of the Slovenian Kempo Arnis Association. So he's a martial artist. He's a guy with military experience and training experience. Built this knife, or had this knife, designed the knife and had it built by Fox. And it is definitely a purpose-driven knife. This is a self-defense or fighting or tactical folder, whatever you want to call it. But, optimized for combat. And you can tell just by looking at it. Okay, let's look at this blade here. This is N690CO. It is made by Fox, and it is made in Europe and Italy, so chances are it's going to be made out of N690CO, and in this case, it is. Beautiful recurve blade, and I know that Dave sharpened it using his KME sharpener and a special recurve triangular rod. He did a beautiful job on this recurve. It is wickedly, wickedly sharp. And that recurve blade and that acute pointy tip, in addition to that deeply recurved, very sharp edge, make this just a wicked, wicked, wicked blade. And plus, I love the look of this thing. I got to say, if Fox Knives were to bring this back into production, which I would be very much behind. But if they were to do that, there'd be a couple of changes they'd have to make. Well, there are several, and I'll get to those in a sec. Why did I bring them up right now? I don't know. But we're still on the blade, so I want to talk about this. Look at how nicely this blade folds mostly into the handle there. All you see that's left out is this jimped area with the opening hole. That means that, in conjunction with the fact that the swedge here is so thin, means that this is begging to have this top edge sharpened. Okay, so it would not only hide in there completely so you don't cut your hand holding it, but the detent on this is actually one of the things that would have to change. But the detent as it is right now, you cannot shake this knife open, so that it's actually difficult to open one-handed. That's one of the criticisms. This is not easily opened one-handed, but maybe that's a benefit if you're going to get this thing and sharpen that front edge, which I'm telling you, someone's got to do. I hope someone has done this. Perhaps Mr. Kinchl did this, but you should not pass up the opportunity. And maybe I'm just speaking directly to Dave now, but you shouldn't pass up this opportunity having a super thin swedge that hides completely in there. And having the skills you have, Dave, it should be double-edged. So I really, really like the shape of this blade. I think it is spectacularly beautiful. I think it would make even cooler if it were double-edged. If this were your knife, if this were my knife, I would do that. I wouldn't do it myself. I'd send it somewhere, but I love that shape. I also love this forward run of jimping. Frequently, you'll get the jimping right here for when you're in saber grip, but I argue that that is not where you might want it most. You might want it most way up here, because you know your thumb is going to come up here. First of all, there's a little scoop, a little swale there, perfect for your thumb, but also just to gain control of that knife, you're going to want to take a grip up there, and I like that it's jimped. It reminds me of, do I have it out? Yeah, like the SOCOM Elite, the way it's got this It steps up with the jimping and steps down with the jimping, and it gives your thumb a real positive place to grip and pull back, and does that here. So I really like that part. I love the opening hole. I really appreciate the look of it, but I gotta say, the shape and placement is not, oh, that's the first time I've ever done that with this knife. All right, I take it all back. Everything about this hole, if you want to slow roll it, pinching it helps. But I don't know, I just never quite did that. And now it seems very easy to flip open. You just got to bury your thumb right at the head of that and push, and boom, it pops right out. Okay, so even greater respect for this knife now, because while having a pretty stiff detent that is going to keep that blade in there if shaken, which is especially important if you do the right and good thing, which is sharpen that swedge, well, it's still that tight detent makes it good to pop it open. I just never found the right angle with that thumb hole until right now. You're witnessing history. All right, as you can see, peel ply G10 on both sides. The steel liners here are weight relieved. You can see some slots cut out of those liners in there. That's a nice touch. Full liners, you get a full engagement of that lock bar. It comes to about 50% across the blade tang. Thing I really like about this handle, I like the scoop there. I like that it's got a, well, in order to accommodate the blade in case you sharpen it, it plateaus up here in this long curved sort of choiled area, and actually it puts these fingers higher than your forefinger, which really sinks that grip in. It's very comfortable to me, even though it's very committed. But if you wanted to carry this and use this in reverse grip, the handle itself, I mean, this isn't terrifically comfortable in your palm, but the handle itself is straight enough overall that you could still use it to good effect. Then again, why would you do this if you just sharpen that? You could just hold it like that. Okay, so anyway, you got this point here, this pointy pommel, which is definitely good as an impact thing, if that's a real thing, if people actually really do that. This closed would do very well like that, also like the SOCOM. But this point is not so pointy like a glass breaker that you can't loop your thumb over in reverse grip. Like, this is actually, even though that looks very pointed, it's actually a very comfortable place to put my thumb over. All that being said, I have not jammed this into anything and felt the impact of that with any sort of force. So, you know, it's all theoretical. It's all theoretical. Something else here that I really like and appreciate is the divot here and the divot here, so that you can swing it around in a pinch grip. The only thing is Dave put a Lynch deep carry pocket clip here, and it gets in the way of that hole. Then again, it looks like the regular clip probably did too. For me and the size of my hand, it's just a little too far towards the pivot, because right here, that's like that little fat webbing thing. I can't flip it too well here. A larger pair of hands would have no problem. So I really like this. No, it's not for your bow drill. This is not a survival knife. This is for your manipulations when you're, I'm gonna cut you, man, and you're tricking them with your different grips. You know, that's what that's for. And a very nice finger relief there, which I guess is guiding you into discovering what I just discovered there, that this flips out very nicely. Like I said, I like this knife a lot, always have, but now I like it even more knowing that you can do that. I'm gonna cut you. Okay, so problem right around here. Yes, this corny, cheesy old CRKT locks style secondary lock. I would totally lose that, because this is not like a knife that is super easy to unlock. I can't imagine how you would be abusing or misusing this knife to the point where that came undone on its own. But they have it there nonetheless. If this were mine, I would remove that. I really like the placement of the glass breaker right there. Perfect unobtrusive spot. Right here, it's just gonna hassle you and just be in the way. There, it's not in the way. It doesn't even get in the way if you want to use this just as a pain compliance device or a non-lethal noggin knocker thing. Like, it's totally out of the way. I wish more designs with glass breakers would put it there. Really, really cool knife. Would make an excellent fighting knife or self-defense knife if you needed a folder for that purpose. I gotta say, it's extremely easy on the eyes. I love the way this knife looks. It looks all business, and I love it. All right, so let me show it with a couple of knives, just as comparison, because I love to do that. Here it is with an Italian-made recurve, also by a martial arts guy. This is Combative Edge. This is an older model, the M1. I don't know what they're like now, but this one was not a flipper. It had a flipper tab, but that flipper tab was as a finger guard. Really cool knife. Love this knife. Also a dedicated sort of tactical folder. In no particular order, I'll bring out others. Here it is with the Ultratech. Another knife that means business for sure, especially in this very friendly incarnation, or blade, I should say. Teeth on top, razor edge on bottom. Here we go with a spiritual cousin, the Emerson Commander. This is an old one from 2000, and with another gorgeous recurve, the the Jason Knight designed Fox-made recurve, the MK Ultra, super sweet knife. And then two more. The Recon 1, which we all know is a knife made by a knife fighter / martial artist. Yes, if you didn't know, Lynn Thompson actually is a badass. And then the old Yojimbo by Spyderco, and designed by another badass, Michael Janich, of Martial Blade Concepts. So all dedicated. This, I guess, is least dedicated, but we know its pedigree, and we know what it can do. So all dedicated tactical knives, and they compare favorably, or this compares favorably to these classics. But the Fox Bantay, if you think that this is cool, which I do, then just keep your eyes peeled on the secondary, because you can't get these new anymore. And if you find one, someone selling one, jump on it. It's sweet, but not literally, because it's sharp. All right, thanks for watching.